Here I have a photograph of someone who means a lot to me. And as I look at the photograph, I like it. I like the composition, the way it captures a bit of this person's character and whatnot. One of the things that I notice is that while this image was lit by a window, it's really bright on this side of the face. It's actually a little bit too bright. So what I decided to do is to lower the exposure a bit so that I have nice texture on this side of the face. Yet the problem, of course, is now this side is a little bit too dark. For that matter, maybe some other aspects of the image are a little too dark as well. So you may attempt to use the fill light, right, to bring in a little bit of fill into that area. And while that works, it doesn't quite do the job, right? If we want to bring in even more specific light to a particular area, we can use the adjustment brush. So at this stage, what I would do then is press the K key to open up my adjustment brush. And here I'm going to go ahead and increase my exposure by a stop or so. I'm going to have a pretty low flow amount because, again, I want to build this up, especially when working with light. You want to start small and then get more and more. And you never really know if your flow is right until the first brush stroke. So let's go ahead and brush across the forehead and the face. Okay, that was subtle. I like that. I'm going to press the left bracket key to make this a little bit smaller and then continue to paint across the face and the beard here. What I'm looking to do is just to equalize things out a little bit so that we have a little bit more equal tone from the left to the right, or a little bit more light on this side of the image. Go ahead and work in the eye there a little bit, smaller brush, and just work in that area of the photograph. And then I'll increase my flow amount, and I'll do so either by pressing a number on the keyboard or by dragging that slider there. And here again, I'm just looking to build up light on this side of the image. Now at this juncture, I want to look at my before and after. I can do so by clicking on the flip switch. Here's my before and then my after. The overall before and after I can view by pressing the backslash key. Here's before and then after. You can see that we're really shifting the overall focus of the image in some pretty interesting ways. Now one of the things you may want to do is make some other adjustments. So you can click the new icon, increase the exposure a little bit more, perhaps a little bit less flow here, and start to work on some other aspects of the photograph like the shirt or the shirt in the foreground. And again, I'm just going to make my way through this image, just make a couple of these broad brush strokes as I work through some of these shadows that I want to brighten up. Now in this particular case, I made a mistake. We can see here I brighten up the background a little bit too much. Well, no big deal. Hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and what we can do is we can erase that. And I'll increase the flow so that this happens a little bit more quickly here so that that isn't quite so strong of a line over that shoulder. All right, well, so far so good. Let's take a look at how we're doing with this photograph. Here's our overall before, and I'm going to view that by pressing the backslash key. And then here's our overall after, again, pressing the backslash key. So one of the things that you can see here is that you can really change the overall exposure. Now once you do this, you of course always need to go back to your basic panel. So we want to go ahead and close the adjustment brush. We can do so by pressing the K key or by simply clicking Done. Now once this is done, one of the things I realize is that the image is a little bit too white because of all the brightness. I lost a little bit of the warmth. So I'll go ahead and increase my color temperature here. Again, this is a subtle adjustment, but something that I kind of like. A little bit more fill light and also just a touch of contrast on top of that. So again, we have a very different photograph. Let's take a look at the overall before and after. Here's where we started, and then here's the final image, at least at this stage of our post-production workflow.